take it, for sure.
Look forward to.
All right, stay tuned. Chicago Now starts next.
Behind the scenes, yes, I had to run downstairs to grab our cue cards.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're here.
Sneaks, and I've got like a rash situation happening on my neck. So, because I think the mic was rubbing on it, you know?
We're giving you guys an insight into...
We're here. We're here.
That is kind of significant. Has that ever happened to you, Caitlin?
I think it's because this neck is like way too close to my throat. And it was like rubbing the mic on it. But I just caught a glimpse of it. I'm like, I should probably address this.
Do we need to, what is a topical,
nice pack over
do you need
here.
a topical Benadryl or something? Maybe you're allergic to
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
certain kinds of, yeah.
Speaking of ice packs, my 1-year-old bit my 4-year-old yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry
so
to
bad,
hear.
you guys. Like, bit her right here. And he also pulls her hair a lot. They're like the same size. My baby boy is huge, and my 4-year-old daughter is tiny. So they like are about the same height, and they fight.
Oh my God.
So like I heard her screaming, which is common amongst the two of them. But I walked over because he grabbed her hair, which he always does. And I've learned if he grab somebody's hair, if you push their wrist like this, they usually let go. So I always grab his hand and push it, and she's like, "No, he bit me too, Anthony." Like
bite marks?
Hard. And it was like an instant bruise, so I got an ice pack out for her. Have your kids ever bit each other?
Sure. They haven't bit each other, but there have been biting incidents, yes, with both of them in the past. Preschool age, it's kind of
it's like the biggest
concerning, but it happens. I mean, it does happen.
You gotta teach it quick. My girl's never bit.
You get
new with me.
You get the call or email. I know there's parents out there that have been there where you get that dreaded call. The old incident report from school. Have you gotten this?
No, my girls have been angels. It's just boys are wild, Anthony.
Absolutely right. So I have 2 boys, so.
And I was like, this is serious, but how he doesn't understand. He knows he's hurting.
There's a book that once he's old enough, it's called Teeth Are Not for Biting, that you might look into.
But
it's a good one.
Teeth are for biting, though, like food.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are for biting food.
They're not for biting.
Hands are. I think it's called Teeth Are Not for Biting, Hands Are Not for Hitting.
Okay.
Caitlin's going to twist that. Well, hands are for hitting when you're practicing when you're a boxer.
Thank you. No, that sounds like a good book. I should probably look into that.
Who knows if I mean, yeah.
Also, you guys, by the way, we didn't get to this story yesterday because we ran out of time, but I was gifted something called an CTA, and it's an energy drink that you might see all over social media. I was going off about this. Poor Gabby's heard this story 8 times, but I drank it. And when I tell you, you know how they used to say Red Bull gives you wings?
Yeah.
CTA gives you wings. And I do feel like it depends on the flavor, because I've had it in the past, but I had this lime slush one, and it's so good. And I was like flying. I went through my entire house, no stone left unturned.
Nice.
I went through everybody's closet, got rid of all of the clothes, and I've been watching this lady called the Minimalist Mom, which if we had
is this why you've been decluttering so much?
Yeah, and I go through cycles. Like when I get into the minimalist thing, then I really like dive in, and her whole thing is, oh, I told you this. I told you this. If you look at an item and if you wouldn't purchase the item today, then you get rid of it. And that's like the deciding factor. Would you buy it today? If not buy, you get rid of it.
Yep.
And so I went through the entire house, and yesterday I finished, went through my kitchen.
It's amazing.
Down to like even, like cooking sheets. I had a pack of like 3, and one of them was really tiny. And so I was going through it. I was like, I've never used this tiny baby pan. So you can donate some things.
Yeah, how did you, out of curiosity, because I've wanted to get rid of a lot of stuff too, but it's so big that I feel like I need to call the 1-800 junk.
Oh, seriously?
But how did you do it? Did you just do it gradually with the garbage, or did you have a dumpster?
I packed everything up, and I dropped it off on all of my neighbors' porches. I'm so serious. I'm not even joking.
Stop it.
Yes, because it's not garbage. A lot of my neighbors have kids.
Did they request the objects? Because that's just.
I have a text thing, and I'm like, who wants these clothes? Do you want these clothes?
I was worried for a second. I'm like,
yeah.
Caitlin, Cody, I don't need this old Hot Wheels track.
No, I did.
Thank you. Now I'll throw it away.
They didn't necessarily approve, So I did text them and say, listen.
That is, I'm very impressed actually, because that's a lot of logistical work on your part too, to like find a home for all these places.
It was pretty simple. They probably got a bunch of stuff that they didn't want.
Yeah.
But
well, good for you to get rid of all that stuff. I'm very curious about this drink though. I feel like I need to get in on this before it becomes a Schedule 1 narcotic. It sounds that reminds me when you said I just cleaned and like decluttered. My friend, who shall remain nameless, he was given an Adderall one time. He'd never had one because we grew up in the era. Apparently, it's a study aid now in college. I went to college when this was not a thing. He's a friend.
Okay.
He was. This is great. He was given an Adderall. He said he got to work, and just literally his office, like 4 hours later, his office has never been so clean in his life.
Oh, yeah.
It reminded me, anyone seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper?
That's exactly what it's like.
Amazing movie, by the way. Underrated film. Underrated films. See Limitless with Bradley Cooper. But he had that reaction and that reminds. So it's called Alani Gold.
Alani New.
Alani New.
I don't know what. We have two different algorithms, obviously, because every single mom that I watch on Instagram, they take their energy drink, they do a little tit on the top with their fingernails, and then they crack it open, and then they clean the whole house. Or they do like their Sunday reset, or they, unload their Target groceries. That's like what I watch, Anthony.
What is the? Oh, there we go. Thank you.
There's the Alani News. Yes, and you can get little mini ones too.
Caitlin, this is actually a question for the group. Why do people tap before they? Yeah.
I don't.
It helps not make the fizz so intense when you crack it open.
I think
it helps. If you couldn't pick it up from my mic, Brad says that it helps defizz it so it doesn't spray when it opens.
I don't believe that.
I've never done it and I've never had a problem. I mean,
no, I think it's just for the appearance.
Okay.
Or if you get your nails done, it's fun to tap on stuff. You know how I'm obsessed with my ASMR videos?
Yes.
One of the big ones that they do is like they get their nails done, which I love getting my nails done.
By the way, I got a gift certificate for a pedicure and manicure.
Fabulous.
I'm so excited about that.
But they tap on their nails, like on her her long nails onto her thumb. It's the most satisfying clickety sound.
So you do it before you tap.
That's what it is.
I'm getting one. Can you just get this at the grocery?
An Alani?
Or the gas station?
Oh yeah, you can get it on Amazon. You can get them at Target.
Is it just caffeine? I mean, is there something else in there?
I don't know that answer, but it felt like there was something else in there. And my neighbors, they were like, where do you keep all this stuff? What are you doing? Because I kept texting them, like 100 text messages. And I said, I'm blaming whoever left this Alani at my house on Friday.
Nice. I am so curious. Now, do you have an auxiliary fridge, by the way?
What does that mean?
Just like what is an auxiliary? No, it's like you have your main fridge, you got an auxiliary fridge in the garage or the basement.
Oh, no. I'm not that fancy.
Oh, my gosh.
You're fancy schmancy.
Yeah.
You've got a fridge in the garage?
No, basement.
Oh, wow.
It's the auxiliary. So anyway, there's room in there. Like.
Oh, you've got like a beverage fridge.
It's like a beer fridge. Basement beer fridge.
That's very nice. I've got a deep freezer.
Alani could fit in there. No, that's fancy too. We have Michael Babcock on the line.
Poor Michael.
Hey,
you're living large,
right? Listen, I will say that you can quote me on this. You have made it when you have an auxiliary fridge.
Yeah.
You have truly.
I would say so.
You know what I
mean? I am jealous of
Thank you.
It's like the grandparents who have the pop-filled fridge in the garage.
Exactly.
It means you've got
I mean, it's luxury stuff.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
And I like ASMR too, so I relate to both of you. I relate to the beer fridge.
And the way to go to sleep at night is ASMR, I'm telling you.
Okay, speaking of suburban, just hijinks, because, there's a lot of people with the beer fridge out in the garage. You open the garage, it faces on it. And this is the kind of neighborhood, actually, that this footage came from. Alan Richens. This crossed my social media feed. I'm actually not surprised we're talking about it now, the day after. What happened here with the Jack Reacher actor here and his neighbor, Michael? Get us updated.
Yeah, this was a really crazy situation, not something that you really see often, in that you've got this guy who was a pretty famous actor in a full-fledged fist fight on the street, on the grass, on the lawn of his neighborhood as his two kids watched. So this started over the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. Alan was on a motorcycle, and he's got his two kids, his two boys, who have got themselves these mini bikes, and they were riding around the neighborhood. How they were riding around the neighborhood is what is at dispute here. Were they just going for a nice ride on a Saturday and Sunday and, hey, we're going to go have some fun? Or were they a menace to the neighborhood? Now, that's what the neighbor says. The neighbor basically says, look, you've got these three people who are riding up and down these streets at an incredibly high rate of speed. They're revving their engines. They're sort of, you know, doing burnouts. They're just being a menace to the neighborhood. And he says, look, I tried to tell the guy on Saturday to slow down. And then on Sunday, when I was outside, he says, look, I've got a bike myself, so I have nothing against motorcycles. I was cleaning my bike. And here comes Alan once again. And he says at that point, he decided to intervene and to tell him to slow down. Now, the way he did it was probably not smart at all, because we have now got video from Alan's perspective. He had a helmet on that had some sort of camera attached to it, or at least a camera on his body. And you can see what happens, and you see this neighbor, and this is a neighborhood in Tennessee. Like you said, it's a really nice neighborhood. It's, you know, beautiful big houses. The neighbor stands in front of Alan as he's on the bike, and it actually causes Alan to stop the bike short and to fall over. A motorcycle is, obviously, it's not a bicycle. It's heavy, so it falls over. He's got these cuts and scrapes on him, and he is not happy when he gets up. And he says as much to the guy, like, what are you doing? Why would you just get in front of my bike like that? You make me fall. And he put a beating on this guy. So the actor, Alan Ritson, who plays Reacher, who is a big, strong guy, clearly, if you've watched the show, that is very evident. And he kind of wailed on this guy, and that was it. And everyone went their separate ways. Police are investigating now, so there is a potential that somebody could be arrested here, maybe both get arrested or neither get arrested. But police are investigating, has not happened yet. And I think at this point, the way they're looking at this was mutual combat. Two men decided to get in a fight in the streets, and one guy got the better of the other.
Man. What do you guys think about the whole neighborhood driving too fast?
Well, here, okay, so you're saying this could be like a double technical where both of them get
They cancel out.
They cancel out. Because I see it from the neighbor's point of view. Stop like terrorizing the neighborhood with high speed, but you can't just get in front of.
Yeah.
You can't just
he could have gotten hurt. I mean, and I get it, and it's, you know, then Alan is kind of punching the guy repeatedly, and he could have gotten hurt there too, the neighbor. But yeah, I mean, look, if you step in front of somebody on a motorcycle and they have to stop short, so much so that they fall, I assume that Alan Ritson knows how to ride this motorcycle. He was riding it all weekend, clearly. So I don't think he just fell. So I think what the neighbor did was reckless, and the neighbor really took this to a point where it didn't need to be. If Alan or his kids were doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, driving recklessly, just call the police then if you want to do something about it, I suppose, and let them come out and handle it. You don't need to handle it yourself and then get into a fist fight with this behemoth of a guy on the street.
Also, to know, like, yes, that guy should have called the police, but should you really be fighting in front of your kids? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my thought, too. It's like the first thought that came to my mind is, the kids are sitting there watching this happen, like.
Okay, I have two more follow-up questions here, Michael. First, how was it all caught on tape? And second of all, is Alan Ritson saying anything?
Not yet. He hasn't said anything yet, but I would imagine at some point he will. But I think it's clear by some of the video that's coming out that they might not be saying these things themselves, but they obviously are trying to control the narrative here. And I mean, the video, the first person video, which shows the neighbor step in front of his bike, I think that's really important footage for Alan, for his side of things here. And for that to have been released, there's only one way that could have happened. Alan released it, right? Because it's his video.
That's his helmet
I think
cam.
they're clearly trying to control the narrative. The one video where you see him punching the guy, that sort of starts mid-fight, so you have no real grasp of what happened before. Yeah, that video there that's on the bottom.
Okay.
That's from the inside the house that is showing Alan punching the guy.
Is that the is that the neighbors that did it, or is it the neighbor's son?
Unclear who took that.
Okay.
It's unclear who took
wife.
that video, but it had to be. It was it was a neighbor for sure. So unclear who took that video, but you really didn't have an idea of how it started until we saw Alan's video, which we now have. We just posted that if people are interested in seeing it.
Neighborhood drama can be horrible.
Yes.
You're no stranger to it.
I know.
Caitlin's no stranger.
A lot of people live next to each
Caitlin.
other.
Yeah,
You need
Caitlin.
issues. All right, let's talk about teen mom Janelle Evans, whose
Yes.
mom says Janelle blocked her from seeing her grandson.
Her grandson Jace, yeah. So this is a kind of a scary situation here, because Grandma Barbara, who is Janelle's mom, claimed that she found Jace, who was like a 16-year-old boy. And I won't get into too much detail here, but holding a weapon in his hand and perhaps as if he was going to do something to harm himself. So, authorities are called, and now he's in a treatment facility, and he's been there for some time, since early March, and he is receiving treatment. Grandma now, though, says, look, I'm trying to get in touch with Jace, and Jace spent a lot of his life being, around me and being with me, and, he needs me in his life, she says. Anyway, Grandma is claiming that Janelle, Barbara's daughter, is keeping Jace away from her, and she says that's not right. He needs me again. So she says, look, I've been trying to call the treatment facility place every single day. Even if I can't talk to Jace, I want him to know that I am, I am checking in on him, that I care about him, that I am still here, despite the fact that we're not in communication. And she says that she is asking the people, the workers, to tell him, to relay these messages to him. I mean, I think bottom line is, he's a 16-year-old boy who has had a bit of a tumultuous life, and if he is, in some danger, you obviously hope he's getting help. Probably doesn't help that mom and grandma are fighting with each other, but I suppose they both seem to care about him.
Yes, absolutely. One more question before we let you go, Michael, because I know you got to get going. But Grandma is on the same page with Jace's dad. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct. So they are aligned, which you might say, hey, that's a bit strange here, in that obviously Barbara is Janelle's mom, but Barbara and Janelle not on the same page, but Barbara, Grandma, and Dad are, interestingly enough.
It's an interesting dynamic. Okay, Michael, thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a cold beer for me tonight.
You know it, out of that auxiliary fridge. Hey, one day you too could have
something to strive for.
Exactly. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Here's
Bye.
another thing trending before we go to break. Caitlin, get this.
Okay.
We hear about these things from time to time, but there's a 22-year-old, I believe, Scotland. She's Scottish. Got engaged to a 24-year-old American guy 24 hours after they met for the first time in person.
Because of an online relationship.
Because of an online relationship. This is here they are. That is Danny Scott. That's 22-year-old Danny Scott. She met Jake after he commented on her YouTube video about dumb phones. What are dumb phones?
I think those are the
Just
phones
old
that
school
are-
headphones?
No, phones. I don't think they're headphones. Like phones that can't go on the internet, maybe?
Oh, okay. In other words, not a smartphone.
Correct.
The two began communicating via email and phone, despite living 4,000 miles away from one another. He's from South Carolina. She's from Scotland. They did have kind of a whirlwind dating online before meeting in person, but it was a go. And so these two got engaged. They plan to get married in South Carolina next summer.
Why the rush?
In the meantime, she is applying for a visa.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the delay.
Okay.
So what do you think about this?
My husband sent me an email. Did you know that? He was a viewer.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
So he commented on your. What
Sent
do you
me
remember
a
his first?
email? He
Amazing.
sent me an email at my first job.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, I saw you." He was watching the news. He was playing golf, I guess, and I was filling in nightside for the chief and doing the weather. And so he sent me an email, and it was kind of a funny one. And then he put in like his Facebook account.
Uh-huh.
I stalked his Facebook. It was a small town, so like even the sports guys at the station I worked at knew who he was.
Oh, they actually knew who he was.
Yeah.
So that actually,
College.
that probably
So I was
made
like,
you feel a
all
little
right.
bit better.
Yeah, so we got
Yeah,
lunch.
like this guy's normal. Yeah, lunch in public.
Right.
But obviously he was charming in the email.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But he's also very good looking, so it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt.
That's a good combo.
So I don't know. I mean, online, that's just, I feel like that's the way people are made. I just don't understand the whole, like, 24 hours engagement.
Oh, yeah. Well,
How do you
mean,
feel about it?
I think it's.
Would you ask a girl to marry you after 24 hours?
Ooh, here's the thing. They had been communicating. They had been dating long distance, like e-dating.
Yeah, but you don't really know someone until you know someone.
No,
you know?
exactly. Like you haven't seen him
You
not
kinda,
on a
like,
screen.
The whole living together thing, I know some people don't do that, but I feel like that's how you really get to know someone.
Here's the thing.
Ups and the downs.
I don't think I would ever be in this situation, but I know enough. I feel like I've heard enough anecdotal evidence that I am not ruling it out by any means.
Okay.
Wouldn't rule it out by any means.
Well, that's great.
How long did you guys date before you got engaged?
We moved in together after 6 months. We moved across to another state after 6 months. But that's just the business of news. When you first start off, you kind of bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I got a job in North Carolina. You want to come with me? And he was like,
Done.
sure, it's only a couple hours away. And then 6 months later, we were engaged.
And then
So that
what?
was
10
pretty
years, 3 kids later.
Right. Yeah. And we're
It works. It works.
And some people, they date for years and years and years.
Yes.
They don't get engaged.
Yes.
And
No,
you're
we
like,
moved quickly as well.
Did
Like
you?
we were pretty much like we knew. I mean, we didn't get engaged right away, but within a year. But we had gone in on a house together way earlier than that,
Yeah,
so like it was.
You knew.
Yeah.
And Anthony and I have been giving advice to some of our younger coworkers about when you're dating somebody and you just feel like it's not right, that you should just jump
Bail.
ship while you can, because if it's not good when you're dating, it's going to be worse when you're married, and it's just not going to happen. I think that's the issue, and why so many people get divorced is because you feel the age creeping up, and you're like, but I want to have kids one day, and I want to get married, and
Right.
that's what we should be doing, and then you get married, and then it doesn't work out.
Did you find though that every prior, even though hindsight is 20/20, that every prior relationship was an educational step in getting you to the place where you were ready to meet the right
My
person?
issue all the way up through, you guys are not asking for all of these details, but we're just spewing here. I only dated my guy friends because I would become friends with a guy, and then they would start to like me, and it would get to this point where it's, hey, we're dating or we're not friends anymore, and then I would always date him, and it never worked out.
Oh.
So yeah, Grady was the first one where I was smitten from the get-go.
From the get-go, yeah. Because you friend zoned those other guys, it
For
sounds like.
sure, yeah. Well,
It's a real thing,
but I gave it a
gents.
shot,
Careful with
it just
that.
didn't work.
Careful.
Yeah, if you friend zone somebody, there's a reason why.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was educational.
That was a lot of
Caitlin.
words.
That was educational. We
Yes.
are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get educated on financial literacy. There is a virtual workshop, I believe, with the woman who is leading this thing, and this is great. Yeah, it is happening this weekend. Okay. A lot of us focus on earning money. Okay. Bring it all in, but what to do with it once you have it?
Yeah.
How many, like, for example, NBA stars, NFL stars do we hear about who make millions
Blow
and
it.
years later they just throw it all away?
Yeah.
They're broke. They're bankrupt. All right, so we're going to learn all about a really cool opportunity to educate ourselves on managing our money once we have it, coming up.
Welcome back, 1024. So as Anthony mentioned before we went to commercial break, we're talking about what to do when you earn money. So you might get it in your account, but then what do you do with it? We are going to get to the bottom of this and actually tell you about a class that you can sign up for that's being hosted this weekend by very own Maisha Carter. She's sitting right here next to me. She's hosting this virtual workshop this weekend, and she's joining us to tell us about her financial story and how she can help all of us out. Good morning to you, Maisha. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
First of all, your boots are fabulous.
Thank you.
They keep
Little
catching
pop of
my
Do we
eye.
have a wide shot?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. First things first, everybody. Boots.
I love it.
I'm trying to usher in real spring weather.
I like
We're
that.
not quite there yet, but
Almost there.
I'm with you. Okay, so let's talk about your story, your financial journey through your life.
yes. Well, actually, I always say I'm a words girl that landed in a numbers world. I actually went to school for news editorial journalism.
No way.
Yes, I consider myself a writer first. But I ended up, when I relocated back to Chicago, out of a series of events, landed at a global investment management firm. Completely different world. So I relate to people from the basis of, I didn't study economics, I didn't study business like that. But once I got there, I had the opportunity to get my registered representative license, my broker's license, so the Series 7 and 63. I worked on the regulatory side of the business, and I just started learning more about personal finance and money management. And to the point where I was able to leave my corporate job 5 years ago, gift myself with a sabbatical, saved 6 figures in a liquid account, not just, my retirement accounts or my brokerage account. So I've learned a few things over the years, and I'm still learning, but I love to share life lessons, and that's why I'm doing this workshop.
This is great because you're a words person. A lot of the numbers people, they don't have the words.
Yes.
They don't have the words, and vice versa. A lot of times the words people, we don't have all that left brain calculator, genius stuff that they're doing. So perfect combo here. You're leading this workshop this weekend. It's online, right?
Yes, it's online, it's virtual, so anywhere that anyone is, they can join the workshop. Great. And I do have to correct you, it's not free.
Oh, it's not free. Okay, sorry.
It's not free. I do a lot of free stuff, but this one is not free because I actually want a more intimate setting with people that are serious about leveling up. And because the reality of it is that it's like half of American workers feel financially insecure. So they know how to earn money, but the management part is where we can struggle at sometimes and struggle with. So a lot of people want to change that now, but we have to put a little skin in the game and make sure that we're serious about making those changes. And so I'm going to be sharing what I've learned, the blueprint, actually going through statements, finding where the financial leaks are, because I have found that actually the more money you earn, the more potential you have for financial leaks.
What is a financial leak?
A financial leak is anything that you're wasting money on. Wasting that could be allocated to your personal and your family's future. For my account automatically every month. And I actually had a client like this. She literally did not realize how many subscriptions that she had, and it was automatically coming, and it was throwing her in the red, and she made plenty of money. There was no reason for it, and she just got overwhelmed and allowed it to continue to happen. And once we got through everything, and I helped her kind of set up some things, make some changes, she had a lot more peace of mind, and going forward, she was able to not be in the red every month.
Yeah, completely.
And especially when you make enough money. This is really for professionals that they have regular income, they make more than enough money, but it's because of the management part that they still find themselves living paycheck to paycheck and just struggling financially, not having enough savings. 13% of American workers have no savings at all, according to recent studies. And 88 million American workers, and we're talking about professionals that, they have titles and, 401k plans potentially, that they feel financially insecure. They don't feel prepared that if a layoff happened or anything.
Zero runway.
Yeah.
So not to get into too many details, because I know you want to show this at your workshop, but do you have any hard, fast rules for your savings account? Should we be opening a high yield savings account,
Yes.
or should we be investing it in, you know, like a Roth IRA, or what would you recommend?
Yes, both.
Yeah,
Both,
yeah.
actually. And with the IRA, I mean, that's wonderful, especially for also the tax benefits. But you can have a Roth IRA or a regular IRA, but definitely a high yield savings account. I really encourage people to do that because if you have an emergency, you don't want to have to charge it on a credit card, a high interest credit card. You want a high yield savings account so that you can go into those funds if you need to. And you're also earning more than you would if you had a regular savings account with a traditional bank, because anyone who's had a regular savings account with a traditional bank, you're typically not getting the most that you could get in terms of interest.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get the info on if people are in this particular position. And again, this is if you are making money, you have a regular income, but you find yourself, hey, where's it all going? She's going to help you plug these financial leaks. What do they need to know if they want to sign up?
They can find me on Instagram at My Lady Lessons with an S, and that's My MAI Lady Lessons with an S. And from there, the Eventbrite link is there, and they can register.
This is
Beautiful.
great. This is great. I think you're going to help a lot of people. Maisha Carter, thank you very much for coming in, sharing your story, and we hope it's a big success. Hope you help a lot of folks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to speak with another storyteller, very, very different kind of storyteller here. You may know him from the Paranormal Files. He is now co-host of the hit podcast Murder in America, and he's kind of shifting his mission for a new project. We're going to be catching up with Colin Browen when we come back right after this.
From haunted hallways to the darkest corners of American history. This is all very interesting topics. I mean, murders, paranormal activity.
Yeah.
So you're going to know who we're talking about if you listen to these things or watch these things. Very popular these days. Colin Browen is the creator of the YouTube channel, The Paranormal Files, and co-host of the hit podcast, Murder in America. But now you are shifting your lens from the spirits of the past to crimes of the present. Good morning to you, Colin.
Good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. And yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's exciting to start taking a look at some of the things that are happening now as opposed to the things that have happened 200, 300 years ago.
Okay, so before we get into what you're moving into, can you give us some highlights about your career so far?
Well, I grew up in a haunted house, so
Ooh, juicy.
I had a lot of experiences when I was younger, seeing things in my bedroom, and my whole family had these experiences, which kind of is what got me interested in the paranormal. I'm also a type 1 diabetic, so ever since I was 12 years old, I've wondered, what happens when you die, and that kind of inspired me to start looking into all of this. But, I've been doing this for 11 years now, so in the past decade, I've been everywhere doing these investigations, from the most haunted forest on Earth, allegedly, in Romania. We camped 3 nights in the center of that forest, which is like a zone where nothing grows. It's really, really spooky. To, all across the U.S. And it's very funny because at the end of the day, still, I am just as confused and without answers as I was on day one. I might even be more confused now because I've received so many different pieces of evidence or had so many different experiences that were just so different.
Okay,
each experience is different.
What was the scariest one, though? I know you can't give us all of your stories, but what was the scariest story?
Yeah, well, there are so many, but definitely I was with my family investigating, because my parents, people online know my parents, they come out and do this with me sometimes, and we were at this house in Kansas, and on camera this doll literally, I don't know if it levitated or what, but it lifted up and it was thrown at us out of the attic of this building. And it came down and it knocked a bunch of stuff off the stairs. It was so scary that I took off, like, running down the stairs in the house because I was on the 2nd floor, and my mom was actually right next to me, and she grabbed my shirt and was like, "Colin, what are you doing? You're going to hurt yourself." But it was, you just have to see the video. The footage is insane. Like, all 4 of us, it's my brother-in-law, my parents, and I, everybody, the moment that this happens, jumps out of their chair screaming, because it's like, you don't see those things very often. I've been to the most haunted asylum on Earth. I spent the night alone camping on the most haunted island on Earth as well. It's called Poveglia Island in Italy. And I was just there last year. I literally had some guy drop me off, and I camped there the entire night by myself.
You are a brave soul. You are a brave soul, Colin.
Yeah, I'm
is
used
that
to it at this point.
the doll story? Is that footage on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, yes, it is. And I actually
Gotta go
just went back to that house, and
Is the doll still there?
Similar activity.
And you're sure no one was messing with you guys?
Yeah, that's something you got to worry about in the field. But, I can't tell you how many experiences I've had where that you're alone. You are, like, way out in the middle of this one place that we were investigating. It's called Crescent in Pennsylvania. We had some shocking things happen there, but it was like the middle of a blizzard. It's this huge facility that was a mental health, it was an asylum and a tuberculosis sanitarium and a maximum security prison. All 3 of those things at the same location. And yeah, the experiences that we had that night were in the tunnels underneath the old buildings, and it's like nobody's down there. You can tell when there's somebody mess with you. And yeah, I could talk literally for days.
Wow.
I can't wait to go down an internet rabbit hole on your channel. All right, Colin, we got to fast forward to the news of the day, which is that you are kind of switching gears here, and you are doing a new storytelling project. Run us through what we need to know.
Yes, so, my wife and I co-host the podcast Murder in America, which has been on the air for 5 years now, which has been incredible. And along the way, I kind of noticed that a lot of people weren't talking about a certain type of crime, and that was organized child abuse. A lot of people are talking about it now with Jeffrey Epstein obviously being in the news. But there's one case that really stuck out to me, and it's the murder of 4 children in Detroit. They're called the Oakland County child killings, or child murders. And in researching that story, I came across the story of a place called North Fox Island in Lake Michigan, which was owned by a multimillionaire predator, kind of very similar to Jeffrey Epstein, who victimized hundreds, if not thousands, of children in the United States and fled the country before he could be apprehended. And according to all records and reports, he died abroad and was never brought to justice. So what we've been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years, is tracking this guy down, tracking his movements, and it's really shocking, some of the things that we've uncovered. This journey's taken us to Amsterdam, Germany, India, and yeah, I mean, he actually had some ties to the Chicago area. I mean, he was all over the United States. It's wild.
Wow, I just did a quick Google, Caitlin, here. So under history, and this is one of the first things that comes up in Google. In the 1970s, it was famously the site of a child pornography ring operated by Brother Paul's Children's Mission.
Yep.
This is an aspect of this that you're exploring in your.
I grew up in Oakland County, Michigan.
Whoa! Oh.
Really?
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, so my question is, it's a documentary.
Wow.
So are you going through and like interviewing people who may have had encounters with this person or trying to track down? You might be discovering murders that weren't even recorded in history books.
Oh, we have. Yeah, we've uncovered some things that are gonna really shock people, especially when you get into, I mean, you're familiar, I'm assuming, then with the Oakland County child killings, and you know, they're still unsolved since 1976, 77, and we've worked with the family members of victims from those murders. We've interviewed and worked with survivors of this child pornography ring, and what they have told us is mind-blowing. Especially, I mean, we tracked this guy, this Frank Sheldon guy from North Fox Island all the way to India. Like we went to India and we were interviewing survivors of his from India after he fled the charges in America. So yeah, there's a lot that I can't say at this time about the things that we've discovered and that we're still unearthing right now. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy. It's a crazy story, but it's scarier than any ghost or any paranormal event that I've ever witnessed.
All right, Colin, so the format here, is it audio? Or is there video elements to this, photographs? How, if folks, you know, obviously this is intriguing stuff. This is going to be, you know, if you're a fan of true crime, this is right in your wheelhouse. What do folks need to know about just kind of the scope of this documentary series and how to check it out?
Yeah, this is going to be a 6-part documentary series, so, you know, full video production, and yeah, we're working on it right now. But if you want to, I mean, since we're talking about this, on my YouTube channel, The Paranormal Files, one of my most viewed videos actually was my video about North Fox Island. It's called Pedophile Island. It's on my channel. So if you're interested in just kind of an overview of the story, we went out to the island a few years ago and interviewed some people, and yeah, that was kind of what got me started down this rabbit hole.
Wow, and that was years before now everyone calls Jeffrey Epstein's island a pedophile island. This is predating that by, it sounds like a couple years.
Yeah, no, I mean, Frank Sheldon was 1970s, and Epstein's, whatever, 20, he bought it in the 90s. Right. We talk about that all day, too.
I feel like this would be a really difficult thing to do, track down, you know, the storylines of these murders or traffickers. Do you work closely with like police or authorities across the world?
It depends. Yes, in some cases. No, in other cases. There are those who are very receptive to the work that we're doing, but a lot of what we've done and what we've been able to piece together has come from the testimony of survivors. So also, if there's anybody in the Chicago area who would have any information about Frank Sheldon, I would implore you to write to my email, thesheldonproject@gmail.com, and send me any information you've got, because it is crazy. I've done some appearances like this and talked about this, and the information that has come through has been almost life-changing. So it really comes from the survivors themselves, and that's who we're closest with. And yeah, I'm really excited to help try to bring some justice to those kids. I mean, you know, they're all grown now, but they were once those kids who were brutally victimized, and they never got to see their day in court, and they never got any justice. And it's still just this unanswered question. It's an open-ended, you know, open-ended deal with no clear resolution.
Well, it is. It's frightening, but it's also fascinating what you guys are doing. Colin Browen, tell us once again before we let you go how folks can check this out.
Well, if you want to follow along for updates, you can follow me on any social media. It's The Paranormal Files on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the above, Facebook, and that's where you're going to hear about everything because, yeah, it's getting close to the point when we're going to start talking about some things that have happened, and, yeah, I'm really, really excited to start sharing.
Really, really cool. All right, Colin. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll look forward to checking
guys,
it out.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. This is few shows that we've had this much variety.
Yeah.
we've kind of touched on so many things here.
Yeah.
When we come back, there is a Chicago-based collector. Okay, lives out in Palatine, and he is now officially in the Guinness Book of World Records because of a collection of what are known as Bearbrick figures. Okay, we're going to show you what those are, and he's going to take us on a little walking tour. I
Can't
think,
wait.
via Zoom when we
fun.
come back right after this.
(10:48). If you've wanted to be in the book, the Guinness World Records book,
The good book.
this may be something that you could think about. Not this particular one, because we don't want you breaking this record. But you know, it just opens the box.
Yeah, no, there's
Magic
many
box.
paths to get into the Guinness World Record book.
Yeah, okay, so we're talking about a Chicago-based collector known as Brick Chicago, Daniel Park, because he received his official Guinness World Record. Oh,
cool.
Little bears behind him. Okay, because of these little figurines that are called Bearbrick figures. You've got thousands of these little guys. So thanks for joining us this morning, Daniel, and bringing us into your collection.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
How did this begin? Where did you get your first figurine, and then what made you take this to another level?
It all started about 5 years ago with my first blind box. They all come in little boxes like this.
Oh.
You just unbox one, and then just like the Labubu trend that we had last year, these Bearbricks, they started about 25 years ago, and one blind box led to thousands more, as you can see from my home office.
Is it one of those things, Daniel, where you open it up blind, like you don't know what Bearbrick is inside?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
These guys come out every 6 months, and then there are different assortments. You could get a flag, you could get an artist, you could get science fiction. You just never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, it just kind of blew up in my collection.
Okay, so you've got 3,482
Yes.
Oh, that's unbelievable. How long? So this, you mentioned these came out 25 years ago, but your collection only started 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's right. Only 5 years ago.
Okay, this is unbelievable. So tell us what the, well, you could collect any number of things. What was it about this particular thing that just like made you zero in on it?
Yeah, so Bearbricks are Japanese toys created by a company called Medicom Toy. As you can see, they all have the same standard shape, the same base. Figure is exactly the same. The only thing that happens is that designers and artists, they have the ability to customize and basically use this platform to any way that they want. What really appealed me the most was because the standard shape is exactly the same, you can see there's a lot of consistency and it looks really nice together when you collect them.
Yeah.
And for me, another big thing that appealed me about Bearbricks is there's pretty much Bearbricks for everything. So here, I could give you a quick showcase, right?
Yeah.
Here's a Bearbrick about Mickey Mouse. So my kids love, seeing characters such as Pikachu, Pokemon, Winnie the Pooh, Ninja Turtles. There's Bearbricks that have different shapes. Like, for example, this one has little pebbles inside.
Cool.
And it makes sounds
Yeah.
too. You're right. There is Michael Jackson for people who grew up in the 80s, 90s listening to MJ songs.
Yeah, that's
There's
the bad
Bearbricks that,
Michael
there's
Jackson.
Bearbricks that have functionalities as well. There's this one has a speaker built in, so you can actually listen to music. This one is a Bearbrick that has the light, so it kind of has another candle-like features. So there's pretty much a little bit of everything, and that's what really appealed me the most.
Okay, so I'm seeing different sizes here. For the world
Yes.
record, did you count all of the ones, the big ones and the small ones, or just the little guys?
Yes, that's correct. Every single one of them. And for Guinness World Record, one of the really big challenging part was that no duplicates were allowed to be counted.
Oh.
So only unique ones needed to be counted, and that was the most difficult part.
Is there like a certifier person that comes around to like quality check the fact that you got no repeat collectibles there?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So this is a really complicated process. And for me as a collector, I needed to hire essentially or bring in two independent witnesses. So they couldn't be friends or family. They needed to be somebody that I completely didn't know. And one person needed to have expertise in this field. They needed to make sure that this was actually an official Bearbrick that you could buy, commercially at a retail store. So two people came in. One of them was a notary. And then this other person was an owner of a Chicago toy store called Toy de Jour here in Logan Square.
Oh, okay. So these go back 25 years. Can you show us
Yes.
the oldest Bearbricks that you have?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. Here, can I give you guys a quick walkthrough?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's hear it.
yes.
Yeah, it's for sure.
All right, let me go ahead and flip the camera. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So the very first Bearbrick that came out was this one. It all started with this all-white Bearbrick in 2001. This one right here.
So is that
The company-
the like holy grail of Bearbrick collectibles,
That's a really
or
good
just the
question.
first one?
Yeah, just the first one, because
Okay.
as you can imagine, it was the very first one. They mass produced it. So it's actually not extremely rare to find them in the market.
Okay.
Okay, the fact that 25 years ago was 2001 is alarming to me.
Can you, Daniel, while you're up
Yes.
and roaming around there, can you show us a close-up of the most valuable Bearbrick in your collection?
I would say the most valuable one in my collection is either this one or this one.
Okay.
Why
Yes,
is that?
The reason why this one's so valuable is because only designers who have the ability to design a Bearbrick would get it. I'm not a designer, I'm simply a collector who started this hobby with his daughter. And this one was actually given to an artist, but this artist decided to sell it. So I found it in a used marketplace for a little less than $200, which was pretty much a priceless piece in my collection.
Wow.
So every 6 months, an artist is releasing one of these Bearbricks. How are they approved? Who gets picked for this?
That's one of the big mysteries. Because it's a privately held company, Medicom Toy, we don't really exactly know the process, but what I do understand is that it's a process that takes roughly a year or 2 years. There's multiple vetting process whether this artist should have a collection, it should have a design released to the public or not. And then I heard it's fairly challenging to get a design approved by Medicom.
Cool.
Toys.
Can we see the Bulls players again? I saw Dennis Rodman back there, I think.
Yeah,
There we
absolutely.
go. We got
So-
some of the dream team. I think that's number 9. Was that Jordan's number, or was that Pippen maybe?
Yes, so that's Scottie Pippen, number 33.
Oh,
That's
there we
Dennis Rodman, the Worm, 91. And all these ones that you see in the front are Jordan Bearbricks.
Okay, so
Oh,
someone's
cool.
watching and thinks these are really neat items and they want to purchase them. Can we just buy them on Amazon, or do you have to go to a specific website to
Cool.
buy these guys?
Yeah, it's a little tricky because here in the United States, they're not really mass distributed.
Oh.
There are 2 ways for collectors to get it. Here in Chicago, you could go to a designer toy store called Roto Fugi in Lincoln Park, or you could go to Toy de Jour in Logan Square. And another option is for online people. You could go find this company called 3D Retro. It's a company that holds the annual designer toy convention in Las Vegas, and they're the only one distributor of Medicom toy products here in the United States.
What a fun hobby. I'm sure your daughter loves it as well. Daniel, is this the only thing you collect, or do you have other stuff that you have collections of around your house?
Yeah, this is pretty much it. For me, I started collecting sneakers a little bit. And then I think most of our sneaker people who love collecting sneakers kind of go through this hobby of collecting Bearbricks. And for me, it just kind of just escalated real fast. And then most recently, I got the certificate, the Guinness World Record.
Congrats. March of
Yeah, it was fun.
2026. Look at that.
Daniel, my question to you
What a
is,
cool thing.
this morning I saw this video on Instagram, and it was a mom who collected those TY Beanie Babies that we all collected in the 90s, and she let her daughter play with it, and the first thing the kid did was rip the ear tag off and just a tear down her cheek. Do you let your daughter, because you guys started this together, play with these Bearbricks, or are you like, don't touch my collectibles?
Honestly, the answer is they're just plastic toys, right? And yes, there are some value, but for me, because they're plastic toys and I put emphasis way more on my family, it's okay if they break them. Like all these things are replaceable, and we did it because we really just enjoy learning about the artist, about the designs, and just having a hobby that we could bond together as a family. But with that said,
You're the man.
but with that said, everything is enclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I gave the politically correct answer.
No, it was a perfect answer. Caitlin's about to cry over here. Daniel, one more question. We only have 30 seconds. How does your wife respond to this whole effort? Does she think you're a madman, or is she like 100% behind it?
So that's a wonderful question. So my wife is extremely supportive with the hobby, but one thing I tell her is that every single one of them costed $1 each. So, if she knows the true price of these collectibles, I think there could be some issues. So,
Oh, no.
as long as I tell her
hopefully.
this is $1 per piece, I think we're good.
Hey, it could be a good long-term investment, though.
How many do we have?
Is it 3,400
here, at least.
Oh, Daniel Park, what a great segment. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, from Palatine. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
I don't know if we're going to top this show tomorrow, Caitlin. That was a wild ride. That was a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of what have yous.
Lessons and stories.
Hijinks,
I had a
tomfoolery.
little too much coffee,
Man,
perhaps. I don't
okay.
know.
Well, we're going to take a break. We have another hour of Chicago Now right after this on a Tuesday. Stay with us.
It's 11 o'clock.
Tuesday.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. Yes, on a Tuesday. I was a mess this morning.
Why? What's wrong? You woke up late or you didn't get your coffee?
Okay, I actually
What's the
stayed
deal?
in bed an extra 5 minutes.
That's a
which was
mistake.
Fatal mistake, and especially with this shift because you have like no wiggle room. And then, I get all ready. I skip a couple steps. I go to my car. I'm getting into my car. You know how you have to do kind of that climb-in move?
Yeah.
My dress rips.
So
well,
what did
I hear
Wait,
something.
this dress?
No, no. No, this one's ripped too. Thanks for pointing it out.
I'm
Thanks for
sorry.
pointing it out. And my dress rips. Well, I hear something and I'm like, you're dazed. You're just trying to get to work. And then I'm like, wait a second.
You felt
I
a
should
wind?
actually check if that's really a rip. Sure enough, my dress is ripped in the back. I have to go back to my apartment. Yep. Go upstairs, grab this dress. Forgot a key piece of it. I won't go any further from there. And then I was having to call people to bring things in. And once a wardrobe malfunction happens, it's like you can't get your mind off anything else.
It sets off your whole day. But here's just a piece of advice, okay? You got to leave clothes here at work.
I know.
Even if you have to press them out, even if they're wrinkled or whatever, you got to take the steamer to them. You got to leave clothes here at work.
And I have had, because I was reporting, so I wasn't really necessarily wanting to keep stuff in a locker or anything like that. So I had like a reserve in my bag, but since it's winter time, or now it's kind of getting warmer, I don't need it, and I had a dress in my car. Anyways, Tia, there's a whole story. I was usually unprepared.
Don't worry.
Today I was not prepared.
I'll show you where my locker is. It's full of all kind of stuff. It probably should not be that
and maybe
ridiculous.
You can add one
and shoes. You know I have shoes under my desk.
That's true.
A whole shoe closet.
I actually just found that out yesterday.
Oh, you walked past me and were like, whose nasty desk is
this? And I was like, do I color out on air for this or do I just leave it be?
Other people have done it.
Okay.
There's pictures.
Out. All right.
Yeah, there's pictures.
So people already know.
People already know.
Anyway,
it's okay. I'm not.
Very, very interesting 10 o'clock hour there with a crime podcaster.
Ooh, I was so
such.
interested.
I also had a lot more questions, so we'll have to maybe do some kind of follow-up in the 11
his
o'clock
YouTube
one day.
channel, too.
Yeah, go to his YouTube channel. Today on our show, Shy City Crafts is coming in. This is something I've followed for a while. I haven't had a chance to go, but essentially it's a gal who's trying to get more people together, do some crafty things.
Okay, I could get with it.
Yeah, do it, like she's not asking the world from you, not a super high budget, just getting together maybe with some girlfriends, with some, a significant other, and getting a little crafty, not too big a project. Also, we're talking about the Amazon Spring Sale, which I didn't even know was
nothing
a thing.
else. I don't need to buy anything.
But apparently I should have had it on my calendar. So that's going to be starting March 25th, and we're going to talk all about that. But first, something a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and sad at the same time. We're talking about CTA and really how safe is it at this point. Recently, there was an unprovoked attack to a security dog that was accidentally, an unprovoked attack to a security dog, and then an accidental knocking of a senior citizen onto the rails. Did you see that? That was all over social media. So the platform, a lot of people saying the platform itself, very dangerous. A Sun-Times analysis found that most of these shoving incidents aren't even being tracked in a specific crime category by the agency. We want to have a co-author of a Sun-Times investigation, Robert Hergeth, to come into this conversation and talk with us. First of all, Robert, thank you so much for your reporting, and thank you so much for coming on to talk about this serious topic with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about your part of all of this. What is really, I guess, is this a systemic issue of crime on the CTA? Has it never been addressed? And this is a situation where it's just snowballing?
Well, first off, I did this story with a colleague, Dave Struitt, who's a great colleague of mine. And so he and I, what we did is we took 5 years of data. We asked the CTA to give us numbers and reports on how often this happens, and knowing that, at least me, I've followed transit issues and crime issues for many, many years relating to our transit systems, and I'd never really looked at this in the aggregate. When these incidents have happened, on occasion, they have been reported by the media, but certainly we never have taken a look, at least in recent years, how often. So we got 5 years of data and discovered 60 plus incidents that the CTA turned over. But our findings and their acknowledgments are that that is probably not a complete list. There are more incidents because they do not track them in that way as pushing incidents. And a lot of these were the outcomes of crimes, robberies, fights. Sometimes they were just people potentially mentally ill, just randomly shoving people for no apparent reason.
Wow.
You know, so 60 plus in the last 5 years, you said that you were able to gather. I mean, is that a lot in the grand scheme of things? Would CTA argue like, hey, look, you know, there's millions of riders who go at that same time, you know, and only 60 plus have fell down into the platform. I guess what would be your response to that? Is that a large fraction, 60 plus?
Well, it's many things are relative, correct? And that would be their argument, that we have millions and millions of riders. This is quote unquote only 60 plus, to which I might say, well, if you're one of those 60, how's that feel? You know, one is too many. They do acknowledge that. And yeah, they have tons of riders. But again, this is just, remember, one crime category, first of all. Secondly, there are questions whether they're doing enough in a lot of ways to address crime. So yes, the CTA does acknowledge one is too many, but they also try and argue, well, in relative terms, this isn't very much. And you know, but in New York, this is happening quite a bit in their subway system. And New York has been discussing and implementing many fixes, potential fixes, or at least some things that could mitigate this, including platform barriers. And the CTA now is saying that it is, you know, contemplating that as well. But, you know, they could have been doing this all along, too. This is not some new concept.
Robert, I want to ask you, because when we talk about this, you know, it seems like even when we've tried to get information from the CTA, we never really get the information right away. There's delays in information, or like you said, some things are like not in the information at all, like these two incidents that you were just talking about, this one being a shoving of a 59-year-old man in December, and then a motor man in 2022, not even included at all in the data. Do you feel like, from what you've seen so far, that there's reaction from the CTA when something happens, they come out and say, oh, we're going to do something about it? And then is there any metric that you've seen them actually do something about it with additional security, with Chicago police?
Well, right. Well, my and Dave Struett's analysis, it fits into this larger piece of the puzzle in terms of crime. You've got the backdrop of the Trump administration has been threatening to withhold federal money from transit agencies in Chicago and I believe elsewhere if they don't get their act together in terms of dealing with crime better. And so then you've got the CTA now scrambling, and then more recently the Trump administration has pivoted and now is taking the Illinois Department of Transportation, which is under Governor Pritzker, to task for not doing more because they have some oversight, limited oversight over the CTA and our transit systems. So the CTA's history and a lot of government agencies in the Chicago area practices has been about reacting as opposed to being proactive. That's one thing. And the CTA is absolutely in that category. Also, in terms of their transparency, it's a joke. I mean, the CTA for years has presented what I would regard as a very arrogant stance in terms of dealing with the public and the press, and releasing and not releasing information, claiming they don't have information. Even getting this information, it took, I believe, 3 months, which is a violation of state law. Our open records law says 5 business days, and they took 3 months. And that was after me badgering them and, you know, really forcing the issue for them to deal with this, and that's not unusual. They don't want to talk about crime, and they should. They need to take a little bit better stance, in my opinion, of that they work for the public. It's not the other way around.
Very true.
Yeah, people would say the same. And as a traffic reporter, I've also tried getting some answers time and time again. You were able to speak with some sisters, I think, of a man who was pushed at the Harlem stop, I think is what I read. Can you tell us about their story and kind of some of the things that they're facing now, challenges that they're facing after this incident?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, one of the more recent incidents happened in December. 59-year-old intellectually disabled man, lives in River Forest, does not drive. He relies on the CTA to get around. So he was walking to the Forest Park Blue Line Station, Harlem. But, broad daylight, 8:30 in the morning. He works as a clerk at Jewel regularly, and then volunteers his free time at a hospital in the Illinois Medical District on the west side, was going to that volunteer job. And some guy was hitting him up for $1, said, "I don't have $1, followed him down the ramp onto the platform, kept badgering him, hits him, shoves him, and the rider ends up getting pushed onto the tracks as the train is approaching. He has fractures in both legs. And the guy gets arrested who does this, and the rider victim is still in, last I checked, physical rehab. He hasn't been able to return home. He's only recently been able to walk again with the help of a walker while rehabilitating. So, and yes, I talked to the family, and they just asked that we not name him, and I agreed to that. But they very sad about this whole thing. It's just so unnecessary, and that's, I think, a backdrop to a lot of this too, which the CTA did address this in writing. Their officials would not come to the phone or submit to an interview, but they did address that there are mental health challenges, obviously throughout the city, and that addressing some of these underlying social issues, as well as dealing with the preventative and the security anti-crime measures altogether, could help address this. But yes, for this guy, it was really pretty scary and pretty sad.
Yeah, and it sounds like a long road to recovery too, and an incident that maybe could have been prevented. I want to talk to you, Robert, about the technology that CTA is using. They're using AI and fiber optic cables to detect people on their tracks. But a lot of people feel like that is something that is used after a crime is committed versus something that's preventative already in place. What's your response to that, just based on what you've researched so far?
Sure. The CTA has said that it's been testing some AI-based and, some technology that would better, more quickly detect people or objects on the track, which would then protect the people, obviously, and, alert the motormen, who are the L train drivers, to stop and not, run something or somebody over. They're testing that. That's one piece of technology that they told us they are looking at. The other thing is sort of an older technological change, which is, in the old days, there were two people, two CTA employees on every train. There was a conductor who sort of roamed the train and, kind of managed the onboard aspect, and then the motorman, who was the L operator. And back, 30 years ago, they took away the conductors as cost savings, and the transit unions have since then, on and off, argued ever since that really was a problem that decreased security and safety. The CTA then has since also installed cameras on their L cars, which is absolutely a security and safety mechanism. But the way I see it, maybe it's preventative in some ways, but also it's one of those after the fact things where it's like, okay, well, you just got stabbed in the L, so now they'll catch the guy because they've got him on video. But did it prevent it? No. So there's a lot kind of going in there. And also, I want to give kudos to my competitor. The Tribune just did actually a very interesting analysis on CTA crime that was different than ours, looking at the CTA in comparison to other mass transit systems in other big U.S. cities, and showing that the CTA in relative terms is up in many ways compared to those other systems.
You know, and you mentioned a little bit about those platform barriers that are used. We know in New York and in Tokyo. Do they have some kind of plan to maybe put that into use here in Chicago, or did they really say anything just about this new technology that you just mentioned?
Yes, that's, I believe, part of the plan. They are looking at that. They've been in talks, I believe, at some level with the MTA, which is the New York version of the CTA. And so I think that is in the mix in terms of things that they're going to consider. You know, some people might say that's too little too late, but, you know, New York has been testing these things for at least a year or two, I believe. And they're at, I believe, over 100 subway stations, some of these barriers and whatnot. And again, yes, the Tokyo area, that subway/train system has a different version of these barriers that are more or less installed, not so much, I think, for crime purposes, but more because of the crowding, and then people get maybe nudged off, or suicides and stuff like that. So these barriers have different sort of designs and different purposes depending on where they are.
You know, Robert, I've talked to Gabby about this. Being born and raised in Chicago, I used to catch the bus, the Red Line train, and another bus to get to school, and the same thing to go back home. I don't think I would feel as comfortable
a lot of students still
doing that as much now, but yeah, a lot of students still do it. You mentioned that you got 5 years of data. Have you seen, based on that data, does it look like things have gotten worse more recently, or is it kind of even? I know it's not all the numbers because they haven't been as forthcoming as they should, and maybe not collecting the data as best as they should, but does it seem like over the years things have gotten progressively worse?
No, it seems like they're essentially the same. Based on the 5 years of data that I have, I think last year, 2025, there were a dozen incidents, and the year before, similar. I think 1 year they had 16. So it's all relatively even. And as we said, it averages out to at least one a month, more than one a month of these pushing incidents.
Robert, I want to ask you a follow-up question because I remember vividly when I used to ride, obviously not talking about trains specifically, but when I was young and I used to ride the bus, if something happened on the bus, there would be a Chicago police officer that would show up in a CTA vehicle, and they'd hop on the bus and address the issue right then and there. Is there a lack of that? Is that still happening to your knowledge?
I can't speak to that exactly. Yeah. I mean, the CTA years ago did have its own police force.
Right.
And now the Chicago police handles, you know, that overarching security, criminal acts on the mass transit system. And there is a Chicago Public Transportation section. So it's a section of CPD that does have some full-time folks, and then also some, it brings in other CPD officers who are maybe off duty and pays them overtime or whatever to work. So and they deal with the serious incidents on buses and trains. And now, as you may have seen, that in response to the Trump administration's you know, threats against the CTA and money, that the Cook County Sheriff's Office also has started patrolling the L system to enhance security. And there's obviously lots of private security guards that are, you know, depending on who you talk to, you know, not greatly effective at times. But the sheriff's office is now enhancing things.
Yeah. Well, we just talked the other day with a security official who was able to tell us that more law enforcement would be present on some of these CTA stations. And Tia, you even saw some, I think it was on the Red Line,
yeah,
right, as you're coming up.
There were but they're private, like you mentioned, you know, with the K9s out there on the platforms and all of that. But I just find it very interesting, based on what you've said so far, that it seems like it's been reactionary because of the loss of possible funding and not because of necessarily the crime that has happened, which I find to be very interesting.
I mean, this may be my own opinion, but since it has been pretty like pretty much the same across the board the last 5 years. They can't really argue that, oh, they've seen such an overwhelming amount of these incidents that they just can't keep up with it. And
but they're not being forthcoming with the numbers either.
That's true.
Which is part of the problem as well. So,
and very interesting. Robert, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
we'll
thanks
have
for
to have
your
you
work.
back. Yeah.
Thanks for your work, because that's hard work, you know, making sure you keep getting those numbers. Yeah, so we appreciate that.
Reminding that you're still there. All right, we will talk to you next time. Thank you so much, Robert.
And thanks to your colleague, too, that's been working alongside you on that.
Yes. Okay, coming up, we're talking Chi Craft Club, and it's a great initiative that's happening around the city. No, I want to be. That's the thing, and that's why I've been wanting to, you know, sign up for one of these dates. Coming up right after the break, we'll tell you all about it. Back to Chicago now, 11:22. You know, even with a big city like this, it's still sometimes hard to figure out what to do. Maybe one evening.
Find a good group to be with,
date night, or find a good thing to do with friends that hasn't have to do with drinking or, you know, going out spending a ton of money. Well, this is where Chi City Craft Club comes in. Next time you're looking for something to do, well, Jolene Vasquez here has the answer. You are the founder. I am so excited to have you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for letting me be on here, you guys.
Okay,
I'm so excited.
So for people who need the rundown, essentially you are a club that's offering specific dates during the month for people to get together and do crafts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, explain a little bit more. What do you have offering even during March here?
So during March, we actually have about 2 more events, I think, coming up. We're going to be doing bandana embroidery, and then we're going to be doing a needle punch car coaster. And yeah, we have just 2 more events coming up, I think, this month. But then starting April, we're actually going to be hosting a lot more events because I'm opening up a studio in Uptown.
Oh, congratulations.
In the Junkin building, and I'm so excited for that to host. And I'll be hosting pretty much every day then.
Okay, I gotta ask you this, because when I think of crafts, I think of back in the day, my grandma in the rocking chair, you know, with the yarn. How popular is this, and what age group is now into crafting all over again?
It's actually very popular. There's so many craft clubs all over the United States. I actually have a little friend group from them what that has formed, which has been really cool. But it's gotten very popular. I have anywhere between 15 to 30 people show up, all different ages, genders, everything like that. Mainly between 20 and I would say the oldest I've got, honestly, I think is like 65.
Okay.
Which has been wonderful.
I love it. And look
yeah,
at
I love it.
Smiles.
I know.
I mean, how can you look at this and not want to go? Tell us how this started and how long ago did you start this?
So I started this about a year ago. About a year ago. I was 3 months postpartum and I just needed a way to make some friends. I didn't know what to do. I had moved here during COVID and, you know, didn't have any way to get out of the house, make friends, and so once I got pregnant, I wanted to find a way to get out and I just needed a way to get out, basically. And so I started looking at things I could do that would be community-centered and just build friendships within the city. And I saw some craft clubs pop up all over the United States, and I decided, you know what, hey, let's try it.
So were you into crafts before that?
Yes.
Was that okay? So who passed that down to you? Did you learn that from someone in your family or in school?
My mom. I was always very crafty. I was the kid in school that would come up like the very extra projects, and the teachers, like, still to this day, 20 years later, still have them in their classrooms.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been great.
And see, that's the kind of person that I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to have all these like little knicky-knacky things around so that I can make these crafts. How do you come up with these ideas? Because everyone is a little bit different. Like you just said, you're making like little yarn car coasters, I think, this week.
Yeah, so pretty much anything that I see on like social media, or just like, I'm like, hey, I can do that. I have that gene where I'm like, I think I could do that. And that's pretty much with any craft. If I just see a little bit of it on social media or anything like that, I think I can do it.
So here's my question to you, and I hate to be the hard person between the two of us, but I feel like I'm not crafty at all. Like, I feel like I'm the person that you give a glue gun to, and I don't know where to stick the bow. The eyes are in the wrong place. Do you have to know what you're doing to participate? And if not, are you guiding people along in the process of whatever you guys are making?
Yeah, so actually, one thing that I do, my husband is not crafty at all.
Okay.
And so I make him try every craft beforehand, just so I can see if I can teach you, I can teach literally anybody, and it works out every single time. I provide all the supplies that you're gonna need. I teach you how to do it. I have instructions. If we don't finish that craft in the allotted time, I make little videos teaching you how to finish it and everything like that. And you're always welcome to come back so I can continue showing you.
You know, Julian, I've been following you guys for a while now, and you're really growing, which is another talking point I want to get to too, because it's great to see how much attraction you're getting.
Yeah.
But also, I've noticed that pretty much every event is kind of at a different space, like even around the city. How big is it now to have this space to soon call your own?
It's huge. It's honestly been so wonderful, and it's such a blessing. We didn't ever think we'd get there. Like I said, you said we've been hosting at local businesses all over Chicago, which has been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful for all of them. But being able to have a space to call my own, I just get to now build community more and have more people come in and really just build into Chicago, because I love the city, as you can hear me joking up.
Where's the emotion coming from? What are you feeling?
I just love Chicago, and we need community more than ever right now. And yeah, we just need community, and people need to feel that they're cared about and they're loved. And that's all I've ever wanted to do for people. So that's why I started this.
I'm happy that you have that space.
I think that we're soul sisters, and I wish that I could give you, an advocate, because I'm the same way. I think you're so passionate, and you can feel that coming from you, and you should be so proud of yourself with the community that you've built. I mean, I think it's almost 10,000 followers that are now on your Instagram. I think when I started following, maybe it was like, a couple thousand. What kind of community have you been successful in now finding this group of friends that you're able to share this with?
It's actually been so incredible. I have about a group of, I would say about 10 like solid girls that come to every single event now. But it's not one of those groups where you go and you're like, oh my gosh, there's already friends there. They're the most welcoming, wonderful women that you will ever meet, and they will just welcome you with open arms. And if they wanted to come for brunch the next day, they're more than welcome. They'll get our numbers that night, our social medias, and we just, it's just grown so much, and I'm so grateful for everybody that has been involved and continues to join.
You mentioned that you wanted to have a place for people because it's tough times right now. What are some of the responses? What do people tell you when they come that maybe they haven't had this type of experience before?
Well, so my business partner, I actually met her through Craft Club. She started coming about a year ago, and she told me that she had always had a really hard time making friends, especially female friends, and that when she started coming to Craft Club, she just felt like this love that I'm so grateful she felt, and that just made her wanted to come back, and we became best friends, and now we're best friends with her and her boyfriend, and they're now our business partners. And I think that people just, I think people just feel that I'm genuine. I hope they do, and that I just genuinely want them to come and feel loved, cared about, and try new skills, really.
I love that because, you know, in this world sometimes, and I think people forget it, you know, if you don't have friends from way back when, and especially like in your case, moving somewhere new, you're starting over, you can encounter some mean girls. I mean, it's some mean girl energy out there in the world. So I appreciate what you're saying. I want to talk to you about this part because I think that one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with, especially if you have friends, female friends getting together or girls trying to do stuff together, you go to dinner, now the dinner, I got to pay 100, you got to pay 125. Talk about the cost because in this era, sometimes going to the movies or dinner is not possible because of the cost.
I try my hardest to keep everything as accessible to people. Unfortunately, craft supplies is so expensive. I wish it wasn't, but I do try to keep it as accessible as possible. And so I charge about $45 to about $65. It really depends on the craft, but it's usually about $45 for each of my events. But then with the new studio that I am getting, there will be memberships and there will be access to, you'll get one free event a month and you'll get free coffee and tea and snacks and everything like that. And I just will provide and just be as accommodating as possible so that people can come no matter what they're able to afford.
You know, I have looked, and because I've wanted to sign up before. Again, I wake up, you know, way too early sometimes to get out anytime after like 7 p.m. But you do, yes, you keep it affordable for people. And I think folks know that, okay, there is the cost of supply that you need to cover. Can I get into your business a little bit? Do you hope that this turns into kind of a full-time thing for you? Has it already? And then also, what do you see for the future, the next few years of the Craft Club?
So I do, this is actually already my full-time job. This has been my full-time job since, because unfortunately I lost my job when I was pregnant. And so this became my full-time job and it's been wonderful and I'm so, so grateful for all of it. Like I said, for everybody coming and my husband supporting me. But I do, what I would love from, oh my gosh, what I would love for it to become is I would love to grow into different spaces. I know like the South Side definitely needs a lot more community spaces, community and co-working spaces. I would love to do that. And the suburbs, I would love to just be able to go and craft with everybody and just give everybody a break from the harsh realities of the world, really, and just come and feel loved.
You have great energy.
You do. You're so sweet.
You really do.
It makes me happy too. Now, you know, at first there's one, I think actually it was a mat making class. It was sold out. Is that true? Some of these are getting sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's been great.
So that means having your own space now, then maybe you can open it up for a couple classes on that specific project, right?
Yeah, so we'll be doing, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll be doing single night events where it'll just be like a 3 or 4 hour event and we'll just be doing the one craft. And then every Wednesday we'll be doing multi-sessions. So like the grandma hobbies, like you were saying, crochet or cross stitch is my personal favorite, air dry clay, different things like that, where you'll be working with the exact same group of people over and over again and really building those friendships and that foundation, which is just,
I like it. It's like going to school for crafts. I like that.
It is. No, see, and I knew this was going to be a great segment. I was like, I love seeing her stuff. All right, one more time. Where can
just bring me the baby?
Online?
Bring me the baby.
Beautiful Adelaide here. That you know what? Let's bring her in.
Like,
can she sit with Mama? I know it sounds a little crazy.
She wants Mama, and you know what? The reality is Mama is working.
Thank you.
Working mom, I get it.
Beautiful.
It's all good now.
She's so sweet.
Where can people go to your website to learn more?
So we actually are just working on our website right now, of course. But I do have my social media, TikTok or Instagram at Chi City Craft Club. Or on Threads, you can also find me there, and our website will be up soon. But those are the two places.
And what's going to be the address of your new spot?
4554 North Broadway, Suite 201. It's in the old Majunkin building in Uptown. So
that is so exciting.
I got to ask you one last question. How tough is it? Because I think people forget it, and I'm happy your baby's on your lap. Because people forget how hard it is being a working mom. And establishing a business as a working mom. Don't you go over that cliff.
As you can see, it's a little hard because I'm a toddler who likes to run around absolutely everywhere. But like I said, thankfully my husband is wonderful and has been so great with helping with her. But it's great. She comes to every event and it's just been a lot of fun and people love hanging out with her and she judges everybody's crafts, so she's the only one that does that. But it's been a little hard being a working mom, but it has also been so rewarding being able to build this community for her.
Understood. Well, we thank you all for coming on today. You're not going over there. Mommy Tia knows what to do. See, I know what to do. Don't you hide with that bunny. All right, stay with us. Thank you so much for coming. All of you. We'll be right back. Where do you think you're going?
Stream.
Out with the old and in with the new. That's spring, right? Amazon's big spring sale is days away. It runs from March 25th to the 31st. Hopefully you've saved up some coin for this.
I'm trying to get rid of things in the spring, I think.
Well, I mean, but sometimes you make way for new things. That's part of the whole thing, right? You make way for new things. And here to talk to us about this is CNET's Director of Shopping Content. You may have to turn your computer down just a little bit, Russell.
Might be with one of our producers, actually.
Russell Holly. Hi, Russell. We're hearing ourselves. I think it was on our end, not your end, Russell. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for being with us, Russell. You know, we always talk about, you know, these deals that people can get, and people are like, okay, what kind of deals are we talking about? Is it worth it that I go now? Do I wait till later in the year? Talk about the deals that are available for spring.
A lot of what we're seeing here is, as you just pointed out, very focused on spring. So if you're interested in new outdoor furniture, if you want to replace small appliances in your home, if you're interested in a new vacuum cleaner, be it robotic or otherwise, there are going to be some pretty solid deals on those things during not just Amazon's spring sale, but competing sales from Target, Walmart, Best Buy, and a couple others.
See, Russell, I'm kind of skeptical a little bit.
Why?
Well, because sometimes you see like, oh, there's a big sale, but then other people are like, well, they just jacked up the price.
Yeah, and then marked it off a little bit.
Sale.
Yeah.
You know, is that really happening, or are some of these items actually on sale a good deal for people?
It's not just you. There are definitely situations where retailers increase the price of something the week beforehand and then drop it and say, check out this great discount. It turns out to not actually be. You are not alone there. There are tools that anybody has access to on the internet to help find whether or not these things are actually on sale. My personal favorite has the silliest name possible. It is called Camel, Camel, Camel. You can go to this website and drop in any Amazon link and it will show you its price history. So you can see what the price of it actually was last week and know for sure that you're getting an actual discount. My team also tracks these things and makes sure that, you know, we're only presenting stuff that is actually on sale. But a lot of the stuff that you're going to find that actually has discounts are things like home essentials, cleaning supplies, outdoor furniture kind of things. Like these are things that we've already seen go on sale at prices that weren't available even during Black Friday.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense, and that's kind of on par with spring.
Yeah.
Getting things cleaned up and ready to go, new things. I want to ask you, because, you know, you can't say Amazon without saying Prime Day. Are these deals better than Prime Day in some cases?
They are better, but they're also different. What you'll normally see during Prime Day are things like personal electronics. If you want to upgrade a television, if you want a new laptop, if you want great big new speakers in your house or something like that, Prime Day is typically where we see the best prices on those kind of things. This is going to be pretty focused on the kitchen, the outdoor, those kind of home staples. That's not to say that there won't be discounts on things like headphones, but they're not going to be at nearly the same volume and not with as much competition as you would see during something like Prime Day or Black Friday.
Remind me if, or correct me if I'm wrong, but CNET helps with kind of looking through different categories of things, right? You guys do kind of the research on what might be the best items and say, like mattresses, iPhone plans, things like that, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we have a testing facility where especially things like robot vacuums and solar panels and things like that. We do quite a bit of homework to make sure we're recommending stuff to you.
I got to ask you a question about that, a little off the cuff here, because Gabby's been looking for a mattress.
And that's
so
why
when you talk about like testing a mattress, are you guys jumping on the mattress?
Well, I don't know. Mattress just came to my head for some reason, and then I thought better, and I said iPhone plans, which I know you guys actually do.
More technology stuff.
Are mattresses on the list?
We have done mattresses before, and to answer your question, we actually developed this is very funny, a robotic like tushy to like repeatedly press down on the mattress to make sure that it wore through. That is a thing that we have done in the past. We don't do quite as much of that these days, but yeah, anything that we're able to provide that kind of testing for is something that we try really hard to make sure we do as thoroughly as possible.
All right, please get your researchers on the case for an updated version of that article for us, please.
I will pass the note along.
Let's talk about technology and things that are in that tech space. Are you seeing good deals? I know you said it goes beyond Amazon, for example. Are we seeing good deals in that space? Because a lot of people do want the robotic vacuum and, the new iPhone and all of that. Are there good deals out there? Or should you wait?
You're not going to see quite so much when it comes to phones right now. Phones are something you'll see better deals on when we get closer to the summer, because that's right around the corner from like the next iPhone being announced and things like that. If you're looking specifically at robot vacuums, there are a lot of different options that are quite good right now. One of my personal favorites is a whole bunch of stuff coming from Shark that is not just robot vacuums but also upright vacuums. They're upwards of 60% off on some of those options, which is a really great option that we didn't even see those discounts at Black Friday. So there are definitely things worth keeping an eye on.
Russell, this might be a silly question, but like I told Tia, when I think spring, I think of actually getting rid of things more than accumulating things and buying more. Do you find that maybe like the spring sale isn't as successful as some of these other sales, like say closer to Christmas?
That's really interesting. I think that it is how different the things that are available here are. I certainly view Black Friday sales as something that is a big deal because I'm looking at what it's going to take to replace a television in my living room or something. So those are like big things that I've saved up for a while and I know on. One of the interesting tiny things that I saw on sale here that are the kind of thing that I would personally stock up on this time of year, AA batteries. Like those kind of things I can stock up on now. It's not like I have to worry about them, expiring throughout the year.
I want to ask you this because you do kind of keep your eyes, considering where you work, you kind of keep your eyes on how things are priced. We're living in a time now where people are paying, I know here, our gas is up $1. When you go to the grocery store, it's up there. Are you seeing that some of these big box stores, even maybe Amazon, for example, are offering better discounts now because people aren't shopping as much? Or are people still shopping?
It's a little of column A, a little of column B. We are absolutely seeing prices go up on a ton of different things. Personal cameras are one area that we see go up and do not come back down. Using the tool that I was describing earlier, you can very much see over the course of the last 6 to 9 months where that price has kind of steadily ticked up, and then this discount brings it down to what we see now as a sale, but was really the price that we had January of last year. Those prices are absolutely still being impacted. We are certainly seeing less shopping, but not zero shopping. There are definitely people who have a need and are making those upgrades, but maybe not at the same volume as 2 or 3 years ago.
What did you see on sale that you were like, I heard you say about the batteries. Is there something else that you've seen that you were like, that's a good deal?
It is. This is admittedly quite nerdy. I am a big fan of 3D printers, and there is a 3D printer that is on sale that I will probably be buying as soon as this call is over.
And what kind of discount are we talking about on that 3D printer?
Because they are expensive.
This is 40% off from a printer from a company called Bamboo Lab, and this is something that I will be able to use in my house for quite a bit, usually like replacing things that I have broken, which I do pretty frequently in my house.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Russell. Right there with you. How often are you guys publishing on CNET? Like, how often are you guys coming out with different things for people to check out?
Oh gosh, we have a team of more than 100 writers that are constantly publishing, many times an hour, depending on the topic. We work across a bunch of different time zones, so it's not, kind of the typical 9 to 5. You will find us pretty active most hours of the day.
All right, Russell Holly with CNET, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. What's one thing you would buy if you see it on sale? You're like, or you've been waiting for it to go on sale, that you're like, as soon as that goes on sale, I'm gonna get it. Is
Probably
there anything?
some kind of like beauty tool, like
what? Like a curling iron or something?
No, like red light therapy, or like, I don't know, like some kind of facial tool. I don't know.
A beauty tool, but I have no idea what beauty tool, but a beauty tool. Okay, that's fine.
That's a hard question.
You're entitled to that.
I woke up early, Tia. You can't be quizzing me like
I got
this,
nothing.
Okay?
There's nothing that I would want to go buy right now.
That's
seriously.
that was actually
like too much junk.
For me, that was kind of a reach, and that's what I tried telling you, and you're like, "No, Gabby, you need something."
Well, no, I'm not saying you, but I think a lot of I will say that I agree. Around this time is when people are clearing out, but there are a lot of people that they replace the old with something.
But he made a good point. Even like saying just batteries, that makes me think of like other things that I might need come like summer, fall. Spring.
What are you using batteries for?
Why are you smiling?
I'm just curious. Like a remote control? I mean, I use them, my kids use them in the remote control, but other than that, I don't reach for batteries on a regular basis.
I don't know, Tia.
Just figured I'd ask.
All these things I'm going to get on the Amazon spring sale, apparently. Anyway, we have some trending topics right after this break. We'll be right back.
I'm going to try not to laugh at some of these.
This is
All right, welcome back. Okay, this first story, I'm sure you saw it. It says, say what? Because when I saw it, that was my initial reaction. And though the content is not funny, I want to make that very clear. The circumstances are kind of like not funny, but it's like, how is this even possible? Ironic. That's a great word. So a quadruple amputee and a professional cornhole player faces murder charges. So you got to picture this. This person has...
Yeah, what's a quadruple amputee?
No hands. Okay. No feet. Okay.
And no arms, right?
Right. So basically all of those appendages are gone.
Okay.
And this person is Dayton James Weber. He's 27 years old. And he is charged with murder. This is out of Charles County, Maryland. That's the mugshot right there. The shooting happened on March 22nd. And the victim is Bearbrick Michael Wells, also 27. Now, this is what they're saying happened. Police say that Weber picked up 2 witnesses in an argument with Wells began while they were driving. And then witnesses report that the quadruple amputee, also the cornhole player, shot Wells twice in the head during the dispute. The question is, how? I mean, I'm just...
So wait, hold on. I have my first question. How is he driving?
Listen.
Wait, why is that? That's
I'm not laughing, okay, because the circumstances are awful, but after the shooting, witnesses exited the vehicle and alerted police. So they're the ones that witnessed this. They were the ones that were able to say everything that happened. He was driving, then he shot the person. So they saw it. You know, I don't know. I'm not in this circumstance, but I have seen where people, though they don't have, you know, fingers and all of that, they can still. And I've heard that, you know, without those, that a lot of times what you do have, you know, left from being, you know, amputated is just as strong.
Somehow, I think on the morning show we had some additional video where he was at a shooting range, maybe from social media or something.
And he was firing.
He was firing the gun. I'm going to state out some obvious things, okay?
And was there anything additional added on, or
I don't.
It was
think
like
so.
with
But
what was
also, I'm
left?
looking at a very small monitor. I'm going to point out some of the things of the obvious, right? And this again is very serious, and I'm not trying to make fun of this at all.
Not at all.
But driving, I'm wondering how this fellow was driving, and then also, I mean, wouldn't the person in the back, like, it's not going to be a fast movement, you know, to grab.
I mean, but if you're used to living like that, you do become strong and capable.
It's
so
not going to be fast.
But
so
listen,
I would think that there'd be some reaction time where the person
could get out. Okay, I'm not laughing at that. Here's what I will say: if I'm his attorney, his legal team, he's getting out of this based off of just his health and his. Why are you laughing? It's not funny. I mean, if you're the attorney based off of his physical composition, you should be able to argue your client out of this, I would think. The only problem here, you're laughing and I'm being as serious as can be.
No,
The only problem here is there are 2 witnesses now.
It's like this.
If you didn't have the witnesses, though, he could probably get out of it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That's what I'll say about that. Let's move on because I'm not. Oh, you have the video. Let's pull up the video. Is this the shooting range video? Okay, we want to go to the shooting range video. So it goes back to what I said about being able to use what you have and being very strong. So yeah, clearly he can throw, he can fire, he can drive. So, but I do think if it were not for those 2 witnesses, I strongly believe that he could get out of this with a good attorney. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. We'll have to watch that case. That's one case that, okay, I can't be serious here. That's one case that I think the nation will be watching.
I do not like myself.
Why are you crying?
Because I'm.
Are you okay?
It's like one thing when someone tells you not to laugh at something and then you
you
end
just
up
can't
laughing.
stop laughing.
Yeah, no, it's actually very serious.
It is very
and
serious.
I feel horrible for the family too.
And I think people across the country will be watching that. And I think that case, if there's no precedent set for a case like that, that case is going to be groundbreaking in the legal system moving forward. Because I've never, in my plus years that I've been on this earth, because y'all ain't gonna get my age, I've never heard of a case like this. So if this is indeed one of the first, it's going to be interesting. Everybody's going to watch that.
Oh, no, 100%.
I'm definitely going to watch that trial. Okay, we got to talk about
Something
brackets.
else that everyone is watching. I feel like
you
I
into
haven't
this?
seen one TV without basketball on.
Yeah, I agree, but I haven't been following the brackets
No, I really
at all.
haven't
Once my
either.
team got out.
I did make a bracket. How
far did you get?
I had Wisconsin going pretty far for some reason. They lost,
Badgers?
but yes. I was just, you know what? I was like, okay, local team, like doing well. Ultimately, I have Duke winning. So I think I'm good there, but I probably am like last in my spot. This is how little I know. I don't even know how to check it. I just have a screenshot of my like Final Four.
So Tennessee Volunteers, they're pretty good. They've been good over the years here and there. So I don't really understand what's happening. So you got to break this down for me, Gabby. I don't follow the bracket.
Well, essentially, so there was those competitions that were going on with okay, who can? Have
there's no perfect bracket.
Yeah, who could have a perfect bracket? Well, we knew that the odds were pretty low with that. So all perfect brackets in the NCAA tournament were eliminated after Sunday's game. The final
because of that, yeah.
Perfect. Oh, I thought you were looking at a sign or something. The final perfect entries fell following Tennessee's, win over Virginia in the last tournament game. Another major upset came. Oh, did you see this game?
Which
Number
one?
9 Iowa defeated number 1 Florida.
Oh, that was rough.
Yeah.
I did see that game.
Knocking out even more brackets.
1 point.
So
by the
earlier
way.
on Sunday, a few brackets remained perfect, but then they quickly dwindled as higher seeds obviously got closed games. They played out. So, that being said, I don't think anyone's going to really win a lot of money.
Tennessee volunteers. Okay, we got to talk about this real quick. We don't have a lot of time, but police confiscate Barbies containing fentanyl in a Missouri store. I saw
Another
this.
horrible story.
But what's crazy is when I saw this, it looked like to me that the Barbie packaging had been open on the far right-hand side. Now, maybe I was just being Detective Tia, but it was something about it that made me think something was awry when I saw the packaging. And then I'm like, that doesn't look like a real Barbie, but apparently it is. This was at a discount store. This is near Kansas City. The investigation started on March 21st. After store security there reported a suspicious powder in one doll. The substance was then identified as fentanyl, which could, I mean, if a kid even touched it, depending on how that went, that kid could have possibly died.
Isn't it sad that not only, like, you know, they say during Halloween time that parents need to check, like, you know, the candy wrappers and such to see if no one has tampered with the candy.
That's crazy.
Now we're having to watch, like, you know,
dolls. 5 of them,
toys
by the
in
way.
Stores.
5 of them all had
Very
that.
lucky that nothing happened.
I just don't even understand, like, why was somebody, maybe they were meant to be shipped elsewhere.
Anyways, I do not like the name of this store. It's called Cargo Largo. Yeah, Cargo Largo.
Well, they're at least participating and helping with the investigation with police.
That's
so I guess
true.
that's a plus.
Yeah, they're not just ignoring it.
They were not meant to go to that discount store. They
Wasn't
were
my
probably
fault.
meant to go somewhere else. And that makes me think there are others possibly out there at another store.
So maybe this is, maybe this is actually a story for the future.
Yeah, we'll
for
see.
Parents to be careful with what their kids have.
All right. Well, we know one story that people will be watching. It's definitely Dayton James Weber. People will be tuning in to see how that trial pans out. Out of all of those stories, that's the one that people will be talking about
That's
for days
one I
to
did not
come.
expect, and maybe something that you wouldn't see done again. You know what I mean? Like maybe this kind of. Don't even look at me.
Look, I didn't say anything.
This is a raw reaction to something.
It is.
And then now that it's sinking in, it's even more horrible. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
on
so
this,
much.
what day is it? Tuesday?
Yes, we'll see you on Hump Day. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay warm because it's a little chilly out there. We'll see you tomorrow.